Well, race fans, if you weren't here a couple of weekends ago, our Booz Brothers Performance Crate Late Model Division wrapped up their regular season. Fortunately, they're back with us tonight for part of our Hub City National. This gentleman here picked up the Crate Late Model Championship this year. Didn't score a victory, but consistency was the model for you, and it was a very tough crate class. Our congratulations out to Kyler Upperman out of Greencastle, PA. Kyler, congrats on a great season this year. You got one left in the books. Can you get one tonight?
Yeah, we'll just, there looks like there's a lot of good cars here tonight, so we'll just have to get after it early and try to start up front and hopefully get it done.
What was the key to this season? I know that there have been a variety of different crate late model drivers. You had the Witt brothers you had to deal with a lot of times. There were so many other different drivers. David Kaiser snuck in here. Brandon was here earlier this season. There was a lot of heavyweights. Now, a lot of them not all was always here all the time, but no matter what, whenever the crates came, it was a very staunch class.
Oh yeah, I mean, this is definitely a top tier class. I mean, a lot of these guys that win a lot of races and stuff, and like I said, I think it's just key to try to start up front and stay there.
It's a nice evening. It's been in the 80s today. Brian and crew have done a great job on the track from what you're seeing right now. I know you're getting ready to go out for warm-ups in a couple of classes. What does the track feel like to you right now, just standing here before you even put the car out there to do some warm-up laps? What do you think you're going to be looking for and trying to attack this track tonight?
Well, I'll tell you, it definitely looks a lot better than what it did 2 weeks ago when we were here. It was pretty rough and chalked up that night. So it looks good now. It seems like it's holding moisture and stuff, so we'll just have to see how it goes.
Well, Tyler, you're a class act on behalf of Hagerstown Speedway. I would like to present you this trophy and also your check for your championship for the Booz Brothers Performance Crate Late Models. You have represented this class very well all season long, even before you won the championship. We thank you for being here at Hagerstown this year and certainly wish you the best of luck tonight and the rest of the season, no matter where you may be.
All right, thank you guys.
Okay, who would you like to thank as well?
I got to thank all the guys on the car here that helped me out. Frars Firearms, Mountain Gate Transport, Sunday Best Boutique, Deerdorf Trucking, MJ Hair Studio, TCP Cycles, and Mafia Performance.
All right, Kyler, again, great job. We wish you the best and certainly hope for a great finish for you tonight.
Thank you.
All right, Kyler Upperman out of Greencastle, Pennsylvania, your champion this year in our Booz Brothers Performance Crate Late Model Division. Simulate drivers, you can make your way to the staging area. We're getting set for warm-up. Simulate drivers to the staging area, please.
Caution, caution, and complete your hot lap sessions. Driver's reminder, when you come out for qualifying, be sure to have your radios on. Be sure to have your radios on during your qualifying laps. Our driver's track is clear. Let's go ahead and pick up your pace.
right, check her down. Group number 1 of our Booz Brothers Performance Crate Late Models, the 11 and 2-time winner, David Kaiser. He'll be tops on the board. Checkered out on our final group of drivers. David Kaiser will hold the number 1 spot along with his fellow 11 driver, that being Ed Pope.
Drivers be advised, a slow car down low in turn 1.
Checker coming out on group number 1. We've talked about the defending champs. K3, the defending Pure Stock Hub City National Champion. He finds himself tops on the board, 23.029 seconds.
Drivers, be advised, a slow car going down low in turn 1. Also, slow car low in the front stretch. Caution, caution.
All right, looks like our track maintenance wrapping up tonight here at Hagerstown. Another good track surface for our drivers as we get set to go in qualifying mode. 2 laps coming up per driver in our semi-late division, followed by our Bob Spielman Realtor Pure Stock time trials, and then the time trials coming up for our front-wheel drive 4-cylinder machines. We mentioned 17 drivers on hand tonight. 21 of Jason Stoner. He's going to be the first driver that's going to be making his way out here in a few moments for the 2-lap time trials. Pretty much 2 cars at a time as we get set to go. Again, this will determine the order for their heat races coming up a little bit later on tonight, which will be 6 laps in distance. And after that, combination of both will set the field for their feature event coming up tomorrow night here at the Speedway. The 2-time feature winner, Jason Stoner out of Mercersburg, PA. Car number 21, first on track. The 83, Brian Kearns out of Cross Junction, Virginia. Runner-up in this year's semi-late points and a 2-time feature winner. And joining them, the 97X of Brady Holmes out of Charleston, West Virginia. Track record set at 21.414 by this year's champion, Steve Kent. Set that a year ago in semi-late action as Stoner looks to bring his car back to the stripe. The 2-time feature winner, multi-time winner a year ago. And lap number 1, 21.871 seconds. 83, Brian Kearns makes his way back to the stripe. 22.482 will be the lap for him that time by. And for Holmes and the number 97X, 23.937. Final circuit for Stoner, trying to keep it up on the top of the board. 21.233 will be his best lap time. The 83, Brian Kearns back to the stripe, 22.070. So he does knock it down a little bit in round number 2 of his time trials. And Holmes will wrap up in the number 97X in his qualifying tonight. He'll be third right now, 23.311 seconds for group number 1. So right now the 21 of Jason Stoner trying to set it and keep it in that number 1 spot. 30 of Brady Neff at Hagerstown. He'll be the next driver out, joined by the 97, powered by Trent Holmes out of Berryville, Virginia. And also on track, and this group going to be the 19M Bobby Meixel out of Littlestown, Pennsylvania. All right, coming by lap number 1 for all 3 of our drivers. Going to be Stoner still up top. That 21.233 is a new track record. We mentioned 21.414 set by Steve Kent just 1 season ago. Bobby Meixel, the 19M, right now he is tops of this group. 3rd overall right now at 22.232. 30 of Brady Neff, he crosses a stripe moments ago. He's at 22.713. Right now that will have him in the number 4 position. And just ahead of him, the 97 of Trent Holmes, 22.716. He will be 5th. And the 19M of Bobby Meixel, 3rd at 22.232. But right now, Jason Stoner tops on the board with that new track record in qualifying right now at 21.233. Next up, going to be the 01, Adam Breeden out of Standardsville, Virginia, down the back straightaway, joined by the 3D of Shane McQuay out of Sykesville, Maryland, and this year's champion, the 1C of Steve Kent out of Woodsboro, Maryland. Pure Stock drivers for your time trials. You can make your way to the staging area. Pure Stock drivers for your time trials to the staging area, please. All right, back to the stripe. Going to be the 01. Adam Breeden right now, 23.289 seconds. Steve Kent, he ends up at 21.485. And the 3D of Shane McQuay on the board right now, 6th at 22.713. Back to the stripe, the final lap for the 01 of Adam Breeden. Right now, 6th, 22.551. 3D of Shane McQuay back to the stripe. And McQuay will wind up in the number 7 spot. Ken will go second right now, the 1C. Right now, Jason Stoner, one of the big challengers to him this year, 2-time feature winner, currently still tops on the board. All right, 22-star Ryan Sager. He'll be the next driver out in qualifying at Huntington, Pennsylvania. Car number 17, Rick Potter out of Everett, PA. And the 26 of Cody Jarvie out of Summerhill, Pennsylvania. Pure Stocks for your time trials to the staging area. Pure Stock drivers for your time trials to the staging area, please. Sager, winner at the Bedford Speedway. Likewise for Potter in the 17. Sager way high in turn 3 and 4. Going to have to wash this one out and see if he can set himself up for a good second lap. He will be at 23.662. That will be bottom on the board right now. Potter in the 17 goes 6th at 22.357. Jarvie in the 26, they'll be number 10 on the board right now, 23.083. Let's see if Sager can salvage something. That 22 star has been very strong in his appearances this year at Hagerstown Speedway, lifting that left front off the ground and back to the stripe. And for Sager, good rebound. He'll be 4th, 22.119. Potter in the 17 will wind up in the number 7 spot at 22.325. And Cody Jarvie, unfortunately, the last driver to come across the stripe, didn't make it. He spun it off at turn number 4. So Jarvie's best lap's going to be 11th right now at 23.083. So right now your top 5, Jason Stoner, Steve Kent, Brian Kearns, Ryan Sager, and Bobby Mikesell. They're the top 5. Shane McQuay, Rick Potter, Adam Breeden, Brady Neff, and Trent Holmes. They will be the top 10 in our current semi-late qualifying. Again, Pure Stocks for your time trials to the staging area. Pure Stock drivers for your time trials to the staging area, please. Well, next on the track, the 33 powered by Scotty Nelson out of Leonardtown, Maryland. He'll be the 14th driver out. The 11 of Dylan Rutherford, our defending Hub City champion out of Front Royal, Virginia. And joining them, the 19 of Ronnie Dennis out of Littlestown, Pennsylvania. 3 very good drivers that are looking for that number 1 spot in our semi-late time trials. And Nelson with trouble off at turn 3 and 4 again. Another driver having some issues. 33 takes the white flag and have to wash that one out. 11 of Rutherford right now will be 9th at 22.577. Nelson at 24.972. That will be 14th. And the 19 of Bobby Mikesell, good lap. He'll be number 6 on the board right now, 22.232. As Nelson tries to rebound from a bad first lap. Still bobbling a little bit in turn 3 and 4. It will be a better lap for the Leonardtown, Maryland driver as he comes back to the stripe. And the 33 will up to the 10th spot. That will be 22.365. 19 Emma Mikesell, 22.232. Actually, the 11 of Rutherford, he was also out there. He is 6th on the board, 22.216. So they make a little bit of a dent into the top 10, but it's still Stoner, Ronnie Dennis, Steve Kent, Brian Kearns, and Ryan Sager as your top 5. Ryan Swigger in the 34, along with the 4 of Justin Michael, appear to be our final 2 semi-late drivers out for qualifying. Again, Pure Stocks for your time trials. Pure Stock drivers for your time trials. You can make your way to the staging area. All right, final 2 drivers in semi-late action for time trials. The 4 of Michael makes his way back to the stripe. Lap number 1 for Justin Michael. Good first lap. He'll be 6th at 22.172 seconds. Swigger in the 34 at 24.256 right now. That will put him 17th. As Michael with a very good first lap. He is 6th right now, trying to crack that top 5 and move up a little bit further in tonight's heat race qualifying. Brings the 4 off at turn number 4 and back to the stripe. Final lap for Michael. He'll remain 6th. 22.172 will be his best lap time. And Swigger back to the stripe in the 34. 23.434. He will top that time. Right now he'll be 17th. So a new track record and top qualifying tonight for 2-time feature winner Jason Stoner out of Mercersburg, PA in car number 21. He will be the top dog as we get set for heat race activity coming up later on tonight.
Pure Stock Action, once again, been a very busy year for this class as well, despite 6 victories by T3, self-defending Cup City champion.
Evan Faust and Brandon Churchy, they collected 2 victories apiece. Tyler Fisher, Nathaniel Yonker, and also Nick Vogel, all one-time winners in the 2025 season. This driver is still hunting for that first one and is oh so close. That's the runner-up in this year's Pure Stock points, the 62 at Dylan Beavers out of Hedgeville, West Virginia. He'll be joined by the 66 at Dave Friedrich out of Greencastle, PA, and the 72 RC, 2-time feature winner Brandon Churchy out of Martinsburg, West Virginia. .673 will be the time to beat set by Jason Wilkins, who's also with us again tonight, the driver of the number 9 machine. He'll be out in just a bit. That's the benchmark, but right now Dylan Beavers just trying to get the top time. He gets the white flag coming back to the stripe. He'll set it with a 23.922 so far tonight. Back to the stripe, Friedrich 24.356. Churchy, the 2-time winner, quickly up top at 22.944. Second lap and the final one for the 62 of Beavers out of Hedgeville, West Virginia. Back to the stripe, and it will be Beavers holding on to second. 23.219 will be his best lap time. 66 of Friedrich trying to better his time. 24.356. That will have him third. Churchy kicks things off right now tonight with a 22.944. We mentioned the 22.673. That would be the time to beat for the track record set by Jason Wilkins a year ago. But the 22.944 set by the 72 RC of Brandon Churchy kicks things off tonight. Speaking of Jason Wilkins, here comes at number 9 at Strasburg, Virginia. He'll lead the next group of drivers out. 13H of Sam Hoffman at Strasburg, Virginia, also out there with him. And the defending Hub City National Champion, the 8 of K3, the 6-time winner out of Hagerstown. 3 more very good cars get set for 2 laps of time trials. All right, back to the stripe. Group number 2 for lap number 1, the 9 of Jason Wilkins, 23.247. Sam Hoffman, 23.224. That will have him third. And the 8 of Key 3, 24.693 right now on lap number 1. Wilkins and company back to the stripe. The 22.944 is what they're trying to top. Wilkins back in the number 9 machine, 22.530. He'll set a new track record in Pure Stock qualifying, beating his old time. Hoffman in the 13H will be fourth at 23.224. And the 8 of Key 3, he will muster up a number 5 spot, 23.543. So the track is looking good and things are going well. 2 track records have already been reset tonight in both Simulate and Pure Stock Action. Jason Wilkins, a new track record of 22.530. All right, next on track going to be the 28 powered by Lee York out of Woodbine, Maryland. One of our 3 drivers scheduled to be out there in group number 3. Second car out this year's track champion, the 31 Nathaniel Yonker out of Berkeley Springs, West Virginia. Scheduled to go was a 78 of Evan Faust. Apparently, Ed Evans not yet. Corey Lindemuth out of Ashland, PA in the number 14. He is the next driver out. Faust is sitting in that pit area. The 78 had some issues during the warm-ups and doesn't look like he may be able to go out, as we do have problems on the track as well. 28 of Lee York had some issues high up in turn 3 and 4. So we're going to have to reset the board for these 3 drivers and continue on.
Drivers, go ahead and check up here. Give yourself some space in the front. We're not going green right yet. We'll start this time. 2 laps. Starting now.
All right, white flag will be out for our third group of the night, 31 of Nathaniel Yonker. One-time winner back to the stripe. Yonker will be fifth at 23.367. And the 28 of Lee York, 25.028 right now. He'll be eighth as the 14 of Lindebith back to the stripe. Corey will be ninth right now, 25.412 on lap number one. Four-cylinder drivers for your time trials. You can make your way to the staging area. Four-cylinder drivers for your time trials to the staging area, please. Final lap for Yonker. He'll be third at 23.135. That time by Lee York in the 28, 24.494. That will have him in eighth, and Corey Lindebith in the 14, ninth at 25.127. So Wilkins and Churchy right now, the top two with Yonker, Beavers, and Sam Hoffman, the current top five in pure stock qualifying. Another driver is still searching for that first victory. Very strong season, top five in points. That's the 57 of William Ecton Jr. out of Mercersburg, Pennsylvania, on track right now. Joined by the 13 of Cody Christie out of Berkeley Springs, West Virginia, and the 67 of William Ecton Sr. out of Greencastle, PA. Again, four cylinders for your time trials. Four-cylinder drivers for your time trials. You can make your way to the staging area. Group number four is led by the 57 of William Ecton Jr. as he makes his way back to the stripe. The Mercersburg, PA driver, good first lap. Right now, seventh, 23.595. 13 of Cody Christie. He'll check in 11th at 25.260. And lap number one for the 67 of William Ecton Sr. And right now, he'll be at 23.595. All right, so William Ecton Jr., he'll be seventh right now at 23.557. 13 to Cody Christie, 25.260. He'll be 11th. And William Ecton Sr. in that 67, currently 12th at 25.833 seconds. No change in our top five. Right now, Jason Wilkins, Brandon Churchy, Nathaniel Yonker, Dylan Beavers, and Sam Hoffman. All right, next up, one-time winner Tyler Fisher out of Fairplay, Maryland in the 32F machine. He'll be one of our next drivers scheduled to go out. Nick Fogle and that number one in Myersville, Maryland.
Green.
And I believe the 77 of Bryson Fogle also out of Myersville. They will be the next couple of drivers out. Fogle a one-time winner, meaning Nick in that number one machine. All right, white flag coming by for the 32F at Tyler Fisher. He'll check in eighth in lap number one, 23.603 seconds. Nick Fogle, as we mentioned, a one-time winner, capable of probably having at least 3 victories this year, but bad luck while leading late in the event twice. Knocked him out, and actually the last race he was here, he wasn't leading again, had problems. And Fogle was denied a chance, but that one-time winner heading back across the stripe in our pure stock competition. So Fogle right now is going to be ninth at 23.612. Bryson Fogle in the 77, 10th at 24.010. 32F at Tyler Fisher. He'll wind up sixth at 23.497. For Nick Fogle, back to the stripe, move him up to the number 6 spot, 23.416. And the 77 of Bryson Fogle, he'll be 10th right now at 24.010. So right now, Jason Wilkins looking to defend his track championship title, or should say qualifying title, as he comes away with the top qualifying effort with the 12 of David Thompson at Hagerstown, the lone driver left in pure stock qualifying. Once again, 4-cylinder drivers for your time trials. You can make your way to the staging area. 4-cylinder drivers for your time trials to the staging area, please. So again, the time to beat, Jason Wilkins' time, tonight here at the Speedway of 22.530. Thompson in the number 12, the final driver, to see what he can do as he gets the white flag coming back to the stripe. And lap number 1, David will be 13th out of the 16 cars that have taken time, 25.105 seconds for lap number 1. All right, lap number 2 for Thompson. He will better his time a little bit, 24.477. That will have him 12th out of the field of 16 or 17 drivers that will be doing battle tonight in heat race action. 4-cylinder drivers, again, the final call for you to make your way to the staging area. 4-cylinder drivers, your time trials will be coming up next. Twenty-four drivers in the SCDRA Series tonight here at the Hagerstown Speedway, and they have had quite a bit of parity so far this year in the 3 events that they have run. Matt Duvall, Nick McDaniel, and Chris Anderson have all come up with feature event victories so far this year. Right now, the 82 of Eric Moats out of Waynesboro, Pennsylvania. The 8K, Tyler Klein out of Myersville, Maryland. And the 13S, Chaz Smith out of Parker, Pennsylvania. They will be our first 3 drivers out for their 2-lap sessions. Way high for Moats in that number 84 as he kicks up the dust and paints the board off at turn number 4. Brings it back for the white flag, 26.057. Lap number 1 for Tyler Klein, 26.475. Chaz Smith, he'll go tops on the board right now, 24.718 seconds here on lap number 1. Again, 24 drivers to do battle with their qualifying tonight. They'll have heat races later on this evening likewise as they work their way back into 3 and 4. Chaz Smith, fast car. Moats brings it back. This should be a better lap for him. It will be 24.603 for the moment. Tops on the board. Chaz Smith back to the stripe. He'll retake the number 1 spot, 24.356. The 8K of Tyler Klein. He'll be 3rd on lap number 2 at 26.475. So Chaz Smith kicks things off in that 13S machine with a 24.356 as our next 3 drivers make their way out. Set to do battle, the 22L, powered by Austin Lowe out of Reynoldsville, Pennsylvania. The 777J of Jeff Erb out of Hanover, PA. And the 516 of Chris Anderson out of Rock Hill, Pennsylvania. The most recent 4-cylinder winner here at Hagerstown. Well, that's where you want to park it for victory lane, but we're not quite there yet for the 22L of Austin Lowe. Man, I'm sorry, Austin. A little too early for the victory lane, but he's trying to get it whipped back around. Who knows? Austin might find his way into victory lane this weekend at Hagerstown. Caution is out, and we are going to try to do a better job of trying to get these drivers spaced out. The 4-cylinder is not used to doing time trials here at the Speedway, but want to make sure we get everybody plenty of space when they come out for their time trial events. Austin Lowe brings a 22L back into the pit area. So right now, Chaz Smith up top with that 24.356 run. And Chris Anderson, the other driver out there right now, trying the one-time feature winner as we get set. All right, so the 777J of Jeff Erb, he will be number 2 at 24.414. And that F6 of Justin Forsythe, right now 4th at 24.624 seconds. All right, next group of drivers scheduled to make their way out. I believe the H15 of Andrew Hoffner out of East Berlin, Pennsylvania. He will be one of the drivers to make his way out for qualifying. 516 is Chris Anderson at Rock Hill. There he is. There's the H15 of Andrew Hoffner. Or whoever. All right, back to the striped checkered flag coming out. 5:16 to Chris Anderson. 23.875. Tiana Anderson, his daughter of the 15th. She will be 4th on the board at 24.496. And coming on by. 5M of Malachi Doyle will be at 24.913. So right now, Chris Anderson, our one-time winner this year. He's number 1 on the board, 23.875 seconds. Chaz Smith, number 2. Followed by Jeff Erb, Tiana Anderson, and Eric Moats as our current qualifiers. H15 of Andrew Hoffner looking to be the next one coming out. '91X of Alan Griffith out of Winchester, Virginia. And scheduled to go the 114 of Josh France out of Reynoldsville, PA. All right, good lap for the H15. Andrew Hoffner, 2nd on the board, 23.959. Here comes Griffith at 91. Right now, he'll be 9th at 25.078. And back to the stripe, 114 of Josh France. Good lap. He'll be 3rd at 24.169 seconds. So some good laps for this latest trio back on the track. Hoffner, he'll stay 2nd, 23.959. That will be the number 2 qualifying spot for the moment. And Griffith in the 91X trying to move up. He will be 9th at 24.632. And the final lap coming by for the 114 of Josh France. Put him 3rd at 24.122. So right now, Chris Anderson, Andrew Hoffner, and Josh France, the top 3, followed by Chaz Smith and Jeff Erb for the top 5. Tiana Anderson, Eric Moats, Justin Forsythe, Alan Griffith, and Malachi Doyle. We are halfway through our 4-cylinder qualifying this evening. The 916 of Samuel Reggetz out of Tyrone, Pennsylvania. The 81 of Matt Chronister out of Aspers, PA. And the 11 Matt Duvall, if he can go. Matt had some problems during warm-ups while he was one of the faster drivers out there. It doesn't look like Matthew made the call. So there is the 81 of Matthew Chronister out of Aspers, PA. He goes by, giving the green flag. 916 of Samuel Reggetz out of Tyrone, PA. Going by for our 2nd of 3 cars on the track. And the 55. Larry Lamb out of Front Royal, Virginia. Crate Late Models, he raced number 1. Crate Late Model drivers, he raced number 1. You can make your way to the staging area. Crate Late Model drivers, he raced number 1 to the staging area, please. All right, 55, Larry Lamb, his best lap, 13th, 26.126 seconds, as our other 2 drivers making their way back to the stripe checkered is out. Here in the second half of qualifying tonight, the 81 of Matthew Chronister, he'll be 11th at 25.041. And the best lap coming up for the 916 of Samuel Reggetz, he'll be 12th at 25.345. Lamb in the 55, back to the stripe. Larry trying to improve. Right now, Larry 13th at 26 seconds flat. So still Chris Anderson, Andrew Hoffner, and Josh France. They are the top 3 in our 4-cylinder qualifying. Again, crate late models, heat race number 1. Crate late model drivers, heat race number 1. You can make your way to the staging area. All right, 0-2 of Derek Iser at Fort Ashby, West Virginia. The 151 of Eric Bazell from McVaytown, PA. And also out there in this qualifying run is going to be the number 91, powered by Cody Dawson, as they come back to the stripe in complete lap number 1. Number 12 on the board for Cody right now, 25.210. And to the line for the 151 of Bazell. Right now, Eric's going to be at 25.792. That will put him in the number 15 position. And for the 91 of Cody Dawson, right now 13th at 25.210. Trying to improve on that. Cody will stay 13th. 25.210 will be his best lap time. Remaining 2 drivers back to the stripe, pretty much almost nose to tail as they come back to the line. The 161 and the 02. And for the 161 machine, Eric Bazell right now will be 15th at 25.534. And the 02 of Derek Iser, good lap. He'll be up to 3rd at 24.014. So Chris Anderson, Andrew Hoffner, they are the top 2. Derek Iser, Josh France, and Chaz Smith, top 5 in our 4-cylinder qualifying this evening. On the track right now, going to be the 64. That's Rusty Garlock in Mapleton, Pennsylvania. Our latest driver out, the 15M, one-time feature winner, Nick McDaniel, out of Littlestown, Pennsylvania. And joining him in this 3-lap session, 69 of Robbie Carroll to get his 64, Rusty Garlock, 26.347. McDaniel should be a good lap for him. He'll be up to 6th at 24.378. And Robbie Carroll bringing the 69 back to the stripe. And right now, Robbie is going to be up in the number 9 spot, 24.509. Pretty good first lap for him. Garlock in the 64, back to the stripe. Final lap for him. And for Garlock, 26.014 right now. That has him in the number 19 spot. McDaniel moving up to 3rd, 24.004. And for Carroll, also a good move up. He's 9th on the board, 24.509. So Chris Anderson and Andrew Hoffner still the top 2 on the board. McDaniel, Derek Iser, and Josh France right now are the top 5 as we're getting down to the final few cars in our 4-cylinder time trials here this evening. Again, crate late model heat race number 1 should be staged and ready to go. Your 6-lap qualifiers coming up right on the backside of our opening ceremonies tonight. All right, looks like our final driver out. That's the 812 of Anthony Varner out of Three Springs, Pennsylvania. Again, the time to beat, Chris Anderson at 23.875 tonight. Andrew Hoffner second at 23.959. One-time winner Nick McDaniel, followed by Derek Iser, Josh France, Chaz Smith. They're the top 6. Jeff Erb is 7th. Tiana Anderson 8th. Robbie Carroll 9th. And Eric Moats right now the top 10. As we've got Varner back to the stripe, and lap number 1 for the 812. He'll put himself 18th out of 22 right now. 25.658 seconds there on that first circuit. As our crates get set for their 3 6-lap qualifiers coming up, Anthony Varner, the final driver in time trials here this evening for the 812. And he will remain down in 18th at 25.658 seconds. That will wrap it up. Chris Anderson, our one-time feature winner this year and the most recent winner
Crate Late Models.
As heat number 1 for the crates are lined up in the staging area and ready to go. Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, could you please rise as you are able, as we will deliver tonight's invocation to be followed by our national anthem. Well, ladies and gentlemen, a very tough week. Obviously, a remembrance of another year of 9/11, but a lot of other tragedies happening within our country this year. No matter what the opinions of everybody is entitled to their opinion, and that's why we live in the wonderful country that we have, because you are entitled to the opinion that you do have. We only ask, as always, everybody, be respectful of your opinions. We agree to disagree all the time, but we just must get along, and that's where we ask our Heavenly Father tonight to please help us through some very trying times. Help all the families of the victims of 9/11 as we continue to remember a day we will never forget. We will always remember where we always were on that very horrific day. We ask you to remember the families of those that were tragically killed this week in so many instances throughout our country. Lord, help their families, guide and protect them and keep them safe. Tonight, we thank you for all these wonderful race fans and drivers that are here. And in the midst of everything that has transpired this week and throughout our lives, we are just so very grateful that we have the ability and the freedoms to be gathered here as racing friends and family to enjoy the sport that we enjoy and love so very much, and that's the sport of dirt track racing. Tonight, Father, keep our drivers safe, our crew members safe, as well as our officials. Help them to make wise decisions out on the racetrack to perform the duties they do each and every week. Please keep our racing fans safe and afford them the opportunity to get home safely tonight, and please bring them back safely to us tomorrow so we can enjoy the sport that we love so very much. We ask all of this in your precious name. Amen. So once again, Kyle Lear, we're normally used to seeing some Ciccarelli cars, the 149 or the 151, but not normally running crates, but he'll be in the 92J. That's the Brian Coe Jr. car that we normally see Brian in. He's on the outside of row number 3. Keep an eye on that one. The 33 of Jacob Witt, a one-time feature winner. Pope in that 11P. Tops on the board to the outside of row number 1. Very fast in warm-ups and so hungry for that first win. Devin Brannon, the opening crate winner. Here we go. He raced number 1. Down the back straightaway, 2 laps to go, and they come back to the stripe. It's been all Lucas Adams. He hasn't really been challenged, but that may change. Here comes Brannon, the number 3 to the inside of Ed Pope. Right on the rear decklet as they work it back into 1 and 2. Top 3 very tight. Down to the inside now as Brannon had to go high. Jacob Witt saw the opening. Those 2 drivers now battle side by side, and that now makes it a 2-horse race possibly for the final lap and a half of action. Pope sneaking down to the bottom side, trying to see if he can work his way around Lucas Adams. Meanwhile, Witt and Brannon side by side for third. 31 of Noah Burnell remains in the number 5 position. Leaders down the back chute for the final time.
3 through the scales, the 14, the 11, and the 3 through the scales.
All right, folks, scratch all that. Race is over. Have a good night. Crate Late Models Heat Race number 3. You can make your way to the staging area. Crate Late Models Heat Race number 3 to the staging area, please. So again, Kaiser, the 2-time winner, he picked up the 2nd crate win of the season after Devin Brannon won the opener. Jacob Witt, Scott Sweeney Jr., Kyle Hardy, Jacob Burdett, all the crate winners so far this year. And still quite a few very talented drivers still looking for victory. Number 1 of 2025 as Kaiser up to the gearbox quickly, back to the stripe for the green flag. And will lead the field off into turn number 1 and 2. Pryor trying to stick that 28 down bottom, but here comes Hardy in that 14C from the back up to third quickly as Kyle Hardy trying to get himself a good starting spot in tonight's feature event. Dylan High is in front of him in the number 1 machine. He's currently in second. Hardy holding on to third. Pryor will get fourth, and then the Hornet's Nest back there in fifth, led by Ciccarelli. All the while, David Kaiser has edged out as Hardy gets that number 2 spot away from Dylan High here on the second circuit. High will go back into third. Pryor in fourth. Ciccarelli top 5 as it's going to be Kaiser coming back for lap number 2. Top 5 remain the same. Everybody pretty much single file as they work down the back chute and get set for the cross flags of halfway tonight. Ciccarelli, the only one under attack in the top 5. He's currently 5th. He's got Brazen Fulton right behind him as we've got 3 in the books and 3 to go here in tonight's second Booz Brothers Performance Crate Late Model event. Top 2 pretty much have peeled away. Kaiser and Hardy, they've got about a quarter of a straightaway lead over the number 1 at Dylan High. 28 of Dylan Pryor. Meanwhile, swinging wide, loses a couple of spots. Ciccarelli gets around him into 4th. Now going to be Brazen Fulton in 5th as the leaders make their way off at turn number 4. White flag going to be in the air for David Kaiser in the 11K. Hardy in the 14C chasing him down. About 7 car lengths separation between the top 2 drivers. Final lap for Kaiser as he's got this one in control. Once Hardy got into second, looked like the gap was closing, but in the end, David Kaiser comes away with the heat race victory in qualifier number 2. It will be Kyle Hardy coming home in second, the number 1 of Dylan High for third. 149 of Ray Ciccarelli and the B6 of Brazen Fulton. They will be the top 5 in our second Booz Brothers Performance Crate Late Model Qualifier. All right, once again, our thanks out to Jesse James Auto Mart. Haven't been many cautions, but he's got some start zones tonight. And we get ready to hit the Jesse James Auto Mart start zone down in turn number 3 and 4 for our third and final Crate Late Model Heat Race. After this, field will be set for their 20-lapper, which will wrap things up tonight here on night number 1 of the Hub City National in Hagerstown. Upperman and Hoy lead us to the green. It'll be Upperman grabbing that lead off of turn 4 and taking him into 1 and 2. Hoy in his second spot. Jared Edwards in the 43 third. The 08 of Burdett, as we mentioned, the most recent winner. He has quickly made his way up into 4th and now challenges Edwards for the 3rd position as it will be Upperman leading lap number 1. Burdett will get around the 43 of Edwards, the 2D of Dodson. Right now, he'll be number 5 on the board. The 40S of Scott Sweeney Jr. right behind him. As Upperman brings him back for lap number 2 of our third and final 6-lap qualifier. 71 of Hoy remains in second. Away to Burdett. Very strong run the last time out. Good quality victory for him. Becoming the 6th different crate late model winner. And trouble for Scott Sweeney, the 40S. Problems over in 1 and 2. He does continue on. And now drops it down to the low side of the racetrack on the back chute. Looks like he may be able to pull it in as we stay green. Cross flags are out for halfway for Kyler Upperman. 71 of Hoy remains in second. The 08 of Burdett, followed by the 43 of Edwards, and then the 2D of Josh Dotson as our top 5 with 2 laps to go. Semi-late heat race number 1 should be at the staging area. Semi-late drivers heat race number 1 should be at the staging area. White flag out for Upperman. As we mentioned, the heat race pole position has been the top spot for the heat race. 2D of Josh Dotson pulling in on the back straightaway side as Upperman leads them down the back chute. Hoy and Burdett top 3 as they work it back into turn number 3 and 4. Going to be Upperman wiggling through that 3-4 turn, but Kyler Upperman taking the 3rd Booz Brothers Performance qualifier for crates. Tyler Hoy, Jacob Burdett, 43 of Jared Edwards, and looks to be the 49 of Aaron Ciccarelli. They will be the top 5 in our 3rd crate late model qualifier. As we get set to go, 6 laps a distance here, and qualifier number 1 of 2 for the semi-lates. This helps to paint the picture as to where they're going to start for tomorrow's feature event for the Hub City Nationals. Semi-lates heat race number 2 to the staging area, please. Green is out, drag race is on. 2 of the best in the semi-late business make their way back into turn number 1 and 2. Going to be Stoner down to the bottom side. Steve Kent showing the horses, raising that left front wheel and sticking right with them. They will work their way back into turn 3 and 4. The slight edge down bottom going to Stoner. Kent going way wide, and here comes Sager in the 22 star. He'll put it in there, and Rutherford likewise tries to make it a 3-wide battle. Good job off turn number 4. 3 different lines taken, and for the moment, it looks like it's going to be Sager trying to make it work down bottom, but Kent's got the horses up top, and he'll retain the number 2 position. Sager into 3rd, going to be Rutherford 4th, and McQuay in the 3D, currently the top 5. All that has allowed Stoner a good lead, but Sager spins it off at turn 4, and our first Jesse James Automart caution comes out.
It's easy pace on the backstretch here. Let's get side by side. Going green out of 4.
All right, field stacking back up. 1 lap shy of halfway in heat race number 1. Stoner and Kent, just like we started, but Stoner had gotten that lead. Kent gets a reprieve, and let's see what happens here on the restart in the Jesse James Automart restart zone. Field back into 1 and 2. Kent running that line that he loves to run. It's going to be Stoner down to the bottom side. And they will again have a very similar run as they did on the restart or initial start. Dead even down the back chute. The 11 of Rutherford will tuck up into 3rd, followed by McQuay, and then the 33 of Nelson. Sager, the 22 star, trying some moves on the outside. Not to be. Just holds on to that machine and stays at the back end of the field here at the halfway point. Stoner, meanwhile, able to wrestle that number 1 spot away from Kent off that 2nd turn. Car length separation. And everybody else for the moment single file. Rutherford a couple of car lengths better than McQuay. The same back to Scotty Nelson as we come back for 2 laps to go in qualifier number 1. Fighting for the top spots in a 20-lap main event coming up tomorrow night here at the Hagerstown Speedway. Stoner stretching that advantage out. 2-time winner, but could have had more this year. He's had his fair share of some issues as he grabs the white flag. Kent's 1C solidly in 2nd. Rutherford in 3rd. McQuay and Nelson remaining the top 5. Brady Neff in the 30 back there in the number 6 position. 7th. For the time being, Cody Jarvie, but Sager trying to get the better of him and will off turn number 2. Meanwhile, opposite end of the racetrack, Stoner the 21, well in control, midpoint through the turn, and Jason Stoner will collect the first of 2 semi-late qualifiers tonight. Steve Kent will be 2nd, Dylan Rutherford, Shane McQuay, and Scotty Nelson. They will be your top 5.
Checker flag. Good job, drivers. They need the top 3 through the scales. The 21, 1C, and 11 through the scales.
Jackson will start at the 21 feet. Good day for a very good 20-lap race.
Tomorrow night, some very, very talented Simulate drivers, a good mix of talent from Hagerstown, Winchester, Bedford, and other racetracks. Good combined effort, and that's what you love about small car national racing. Some of the best from all the different racetracks combining together. And this is a great time of year if you're a small car racing fan, because there's a lot of those races coming up at various speedways. It's their time of year, and right now it's time for the second Simulate qualifier as Ronnie Dennis tries to head him to the first turn as the leader. Kearns of the 83, good strong run on that outside. He holds line. It's going to be Dennis still right now holding the #1 spot by a few inches. Kearns will stay even with him. Likewise, it's going to be Justin Michael fending off Rick Potter down in turn number 3 and 4. Kearns using that outside, and he'll grab the #1 spot here on lap number 1. Dennis into second, Michael third, Potter in fourth, and Mike Sell. They will be the top 5 on lap number 1. The deck is shuffled again. Kearns wiggled just a little bit. That's enough for Dennis to get that spot down low. Here comes the 4 of Michael. He's turning on the afterburners. He's closing the gap on the top 2 drivers. 17 of Potter right within striking distance as the leaders make their way back for lap number 2. Dennis down low, Kearns up top. Give the edge to Dennis. Michael remains in the 3rd spot. It's lost a little bit of ground. He had gained a lot a lap prior, and now he falls back into the clutches of the 17 of Potter. 19M of Mike Sell right there, and again Kearns refuses to give up. He's relentless on that outside. For the moment, Dennis has him covered as they take the cross flags for halfway. Michael still by a car length in that 3rd position. Potter right behind him. Another 3 back to the 19M of Mike Sell. As the leaders make their way back, 2 laps to go will be the indication when they come back to the stripe. And for the moment, Dennis has now assumed a little bit of control of this one. He's got about a 4 car length advantage over Kearns. Michael's still trying to fend off Potter with 2 laps to go. Again, Pure Stocks, heat race number 1 coming up next. Pure Stocks, heat race number 1. You should be at the staging area. White flag about to go in the air for Ronnie Dennis. Multi-time Pure Stock winner and champion as he makes his way back to the stripe. Driver that we saw the latter part of this season and did come away with a Simulate feature event victory here in the 2025 season. Kearns chasing him down the back straightaway, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. About a car length separation between Michael, Potter, and Mike Sell. But it's going to be Ronnie Dennis trying to work off of turn 4. He's got issues, and Kearns is going to take it. Troubles for Ronnie Dennis as he came off turn 4 low and off the pace. Tough break for Ronnie Dennis, and the 83 of Brian Kearns will grab that victory.
4 of Justin Michael will get second. 17 of Rick Potter, the 19 of Bobby Mike Sell.
Despite the success again of Keith Reed, we did have several victors. We mentioned that Yonker has got a victory. Nick Fogel, Evan Faust with 2, Tyler Fisher with 1, and the 72C of Brandon Churchy. You'll see him in qualifier number 2. He was a 2-time feature winner this year as well. Pure Stocks, heat race number 2 to the staging area. Pure Stock drivers, heat race number 2 to the staging area, please. Field is back in the Jesse James Automar at start zone as we get set for the green flag and Pure Stock action tonight. And a good jump by the 9 of Wilkins. He'll grab that lead and let the rest of the field battle amongst themselves for the moment. Sam Hoffman and Yonker, 13 and the 31. Side by side for second. The 57 of Ecton Jr. back there in 4th. 32F of Tyler Fisher will be the top 5. And here comes the 78 of Evan Faust. Whatever issues he had, he's plucked off 2, maybe 3 here on lap number 1 as he works the low line in turn number 1 and 2 underneath of Fisher, trying to crack the top 5. One driver tagging a little bit of contact over there off of turn number 2, but everything is okay. We stay green and come back for lap number 2. Going to be Wilkins in control. Yonker wrestles that number 2 spot away from Hoffman. Ecton and Faust, they will be the top 5. Fisher back in 6th. Friedrich in the 66 holding on to 7th. And then Cody Christie, the top 8. As halfway on the board this time by for Strasburg, Virginia driver Jason Wilkins. Yonker comfortable in second. The log jam is third, and that's where Hoffman feels the pressure. Ecton looking to the inside because he's got pressure from the 78 of Evan Faust. All the while, the pressure's on the flag stand, too. The cross flags are done. It's now 2 to go for our top 5 machines. Hoffman still leads in third, Ecton fourth, and Faust right there in fifth. Everybody taking a different line. Hoffman in the high line. It's going to be Ecton in the middle, and Faust trying low, but everybody maintains their spots when they dump onto the straightaway. And Yonker, meanwhile, has closed the gap a little bit on the 9 of Jason Wilkins as they come back for the 1 to go indication. Final time around, and it looks like the field is tightened up with the top 5. Wilkins still in control by about a few car lengths, but Yonker closing that gap up in the 31 within a car length in turn number 3 and 4. Jason Wilkins in the number 9. He will come away with the victor in race number 1. Yonker will be in second, Hoffman third, Ecton fourth, and the 78 of Evan Faust. They will be the top 5 in the first qualifier for the Bob Spielman Realtor Pure Stock Division.
Keep that pace on the backstretch, drivers. Get tight in turn 3. We're going green out of 4.
Field stacked up, set to go in the second and final qualifier for the Bob Spielman Realtors Pure Stock Division. Brandon Churchy. Well, he's won on big weekends. That was a Saggy Tribute race when the Pure Stocks were here. The Derby Road Tribute race when the Pure Stocks were here. This is also considered obviously a very big weekend. So when the big races come up, Churchy finds himself in that number 1 spot. Thompson, a little out of shape in that 12 car. Further back in the field, he gathers it back in. We have lap number 1 on the board. Churchy and Fogel, top 2. Keith Reed back in third, fighting with Dylan Beavers. And the 77 of Bryson Fogel, they will be the top 5 with the first lap and a half done. Again, 4 cylinders, heat race number 1. 4-cylinder drivers, heat race number 1 to the staging area, please. Good battle for third. Top 2 separated by a couple of car lengths, but Dylan Beavers shot down low and grabbed the number 3 spot away from Keith Reed. With the 77 of Bryson Fogel well within striking distance. Couple of car length separation for your top 2, led by Churchy. Halfway this time by, 3 in the books, 3 to go. Car length separation between the top 2. Same gap between third and fourth. They are about 5 or 6 back of the front 2 machines. That's Dylan Beavers in the 62, followed by Keith Reed. Bryson Fogel remains in 5th. David Thompson in 6th spot. Lindebeth back in 7th. And the 67 of William Ecton Sr. in 8th. Fogel now beginning to take peeks to the inside. 2 to go this time by. He draws to within a half a car length as the leaders head off into 1 and 2. Churchy will remain that same line through that 1-2 turn. That will be enough to keep him just in front. And by a car length, stretching it out down the back chute. Fogel off the gas a little bit later in the corners, and that closes the gap up as they'll be looking for the white flag this time by. Meanwhile, Beavers and Reed, they are separated by a couple of car lengths. Beavers still in that number 3 position. And the 77 of Bryson Fogel looking on back in 5th. Final run for Fogel. Got a good one off at turn number 2, but he's still a good car length back. He'll have to close up and really put the heat on. Jan and Churchy down in turn 3 and 4. And our second and final qualifier, the Bob Spielman Realtors Pure Stocks, goes to the 72C of Brandon Churchy with the 1 of Nick Fogel on his rear bumper. 62 of Dylan Beavers, the 8 of Keith Reed, and the 77 of Bryson Fogel. They will be the top 5 in our second and final Pure Stock qualifier, setting the field for tomorrow night's 20-lap Hub City National Championship event. Well, fans, don't forget, tomorrow night we got plenty of racing action. The late model Sportsman's and Crown Vics will also be here. The Crates will run their full program tonight, and they will be done. But the late model Sportsman's and Crown Vics have a full program The 4-cylinder simulates and pure stocks. Their qualifying will all be set tonight, and they will have their 20-lap main events coming up tomorrow. So certainly hope you can join us for another night of racing here on the Hub City Nationals here at the Hagerstown Speedway. Front-wheel drive 4-cylinders, 3 races, 3 different winners. Chris Anderson, he's one of those. He starts on the pole here in qualifier number 1. He'll grab a gear and grab the lead here early. Field heading off in this 6-lap qualifier. The 0-2 of Derek Iser. He had some good qualifying laps earlier. Bobbles a little bit off that second turn, but holds on to the number 2 position. Moats in the 82. He started far back in the field. Well, actually, the outside of row 2, so he's still fourth. So do the math. He hasn't done anything yet. He will. Eric, I was trying to make you a bigger rock star than what you were at that time, but right now he's still fighting for that number 3 spot. The 777J of Jeff Erb is right in front of him as the front 4 are single file down the back chute, followed by the number 5M. That's Malachi Doyle. He's holding on to the 6th spot, followed by the 91 or 916 of Samuel Regetz. It's all Anderson right now by about 5 car lengths over Derek Iser here on lap number 2. Again, 4 cylinders, heat race number 2. 4-cylinder drivers, heat race number 2 to the staging area, please. Halfway this time by, and the gap between first and second closing up slightly. The 0-2 of Iser. Couple of car lengths back behind Anderson. Still the 777J of Jeff Erb holding on to third. Moats of the 82 right on his rear bumper. The number 4 position. Malachi Doyle, the top 5 with 2 laps to go here in qualifier number 1. Still only about a car length and a half. If the 0-2 of Iser could just figure that corner out, he gets a little squirrely off that second turn, and that loses a little momentum to Chris Anderson, but then he closes it back up as he'll come back for the white flag. 777J of Jeff Erb still feeling that pressure. Eric Moats of that 82 all over that rear bumper. The battle for third. Malachi Doyle, the number 5. They remain the top 5 here on the final lap. Checkered is out, and Chris Anderson, he won the last time he was here. He's right back in the number 1 spot, taking heat race number 1 tonight. 0-2 of Derek Iser will come home second. Jeff Erb will win that battle with Eric Moats for third. And the 5M of Malachi Doyle, he will round out the top 5 in qualifier number 1 for our front-wheel drive 4-cylinder drivers. All right, Matt Duvall on, unfortunately, problems. We saw him out there during warm-ups earlier tonight. He had a good qualifying time, but the 11 apparently with major problems that will not allow him to be out there for the main event. So we will go with the 7 that we have here tonight in heat race number 2. The H15 of Andrew Hoffner and that 114 of Josh France. And France will grab the lead on the outside of row number 1. 15 of Tiana Anderson had a very good run going in the last feature, but had some mechanical issues. Pretty much lost the gas tank off turn number 2. And then had to come and celebrate victory with Dad. Chris Anderson, right now she's solidly in that number 3 position. 4th spot right now going to the 81, Matt Chronister, as the leaders make their way off of turn number 2 down the back chute. Couple of car length separation between our top 2. And it is still going to be Josh France with that lead. Well, good 2-car battle at the halfway point. Still continues to be Josh France, but right on his bumper, Andrew Hoffner, the pole sitter, nose to tail back in turn number 3 and 4. 2 laps to go when they come back to the stripe this time. 15 of Tiana Anderson. She remains in third. And closing that gap up behind her little by little. Going to be that 151 Eric Bazell. Or the F6, I should say, of Justin Forsythe. Well, near spin out by your leader, and that opens a door for Andrew Hoffner. But they are still nose to tail. White flag in the air, and the pressure is going to be on Josh France to hold on to that top spot. He wiggles again, a little out of shape off turn number 2. And here comes Hoffner. He had won the pole, or earned it, for heat race number 2. He's trying to claim back what he lost on the initial lap. This is the final set of turns off turn number 4. And here comes Josh France. He will hold on and take the second qualifier. 15 of Andrew Hoffner. He'll wind up in the number 2 spot. Tiana Anderson to the 15 third. The F6 of Justin Forsythe. And the drag race is on. And looks like the 151 of Eric Bazell will get that 5th spot here in the second 4-cylinder qualifier tonight.
So, job 1 coming up for Josh France. He had earned that one.
All right, field stacked up down the back straightaway. So far, it's been Chris Anderson, Josh France scoring victories. Nick McDaniel, the one-time winner. He won the second time out in 4-cylinder action this year. He's looking for a victory. He's trying to set the field for tomorrow's 20-lap feature event. Leaders off turn 4. McDaniel grabbing the lead early as they come to the stripe for the green flag. Crossover move to that inside. And Chaz Smith is right there. He's back there. Alan Griffith, the 91X, also trying to make his move up into the inside. Side by side for the lead as the leaders make their way off at turn number 3 and 4. McDaniel way up the banking, and they are rolling pretty good. McDaniel retakes the number 1 spot. Chaz Smith of the 13S dropping back into second, but he's not giving up. He's holding that low line. Griffith, meanwhile, giving up to Robbie Carroll in the 69. He'll move up into third. It's going to be Griffith back into fourth, and the 812 of Anthony Varner right now, the top 5. Single file, but that battle for the number 1 spot still a good one as they come back for lap number 2. McDaniel by a car length. It's going to be the 13S of Chaz Smith. Robbie Carroll, they are closing. Alan Griffith, the 91X, they are right there likewise, followed by the 81. And mainly the 812 of Anthony Varner as the leaders come back. It'll be halfway this time by. Well, Nick McDaniel still holding that lead, but he has got Chaz Smith really working that bottom side. 2 laps to go as they come back to the line. Robbie Carroll still within striking distance in third. 91X of Alan Griffith. They are the top 4 as they work it back into the 1-2 turn, followed by the 812 of Anthony Varner. Now a little bit of distance between those front 4 machines, about 3 to 4 car lengths of each one of them, as they will look at the white flag when they come back to the stripe this time. Final lap for McDaniel, but much like heat race number 2, it had to be Josh France earning that over Andrew Hoffner, as Chaz Smith has kept him honest. He has been right there, striking distance. As you can see, McDaniel lets off rather early. Smith goes a little deeper in the corners, and as they come off at turn number 4, checkered flag is out. The final 4-cylinder qualifier. It'll be Nick McDaniel. Chaz Smith, a great run in second. Robbie Carroll coming in third. 91X of Alan Griffith. He had some issues over in turn number 2. And as a result of that, here comes the 91 of Cody Dawson. He will wind up in the number 4 spot and give 5th to the 8K of Tyler Klein. So again, a tough break for the 91X of Alan Griffith, having troubles over in the 1-2 turn area on the final lap. Field stacked up down the back straightaway. 20 laps dead ahead. It's going to be Lucas Adams in that number 14A. Comp quietly has been right up at the top of the board as he won his heat race. He let the rest of them battle amongst themselves. Now he's got all the kids out there to play for keeps. as they work it off at turn number 4. Green is in the air. All right, green is out. Going to be Adams trying to hold on, but he can't. It's going to be David Kaiser. I'm making Ed Pope in that. David Kaiser, I should say, in the 11. Grabbing the number 1 spot. 27 to Kyler Upperman. Gets a little out of shape, and the field is right up behind him. He creates almost a 3-wide battle. Pope to the inside. The battle for second. And right there, Lucas Adams trying to find his way in there. Jacob Witt will gain 4th down the backstretch, and right in front of them it's going to be Upperman and Pope side by side for the runner-up spot. Kaiser meanwhile in control here on lap number 2 by a quarter of a straightaway. Upperman won that battle with Pope, and now Jacob Witt joins that battle as well. He's looking to the inside of the Hanover, Maryland driver for that 3rd position. For the moment, it's going to be Witt back in 4th. And Tyler Hoy leads the charge in 5th. Kyle Hardy in the number 6 spot. 7th going to Devin Brannon. Lucas Adams, the pole sitter, dropping back to 8th. Jacob Burdett 9th. And here comes Brayson Fulton in the top 10. Upperman swinging way wide and loses a couple of positions that time off the corner. It'll be Witt moving up into 2nd, Pope to 3rd, and now Hardy puts that 14C up into 4th position. Upperman settles back in. He's 5th. Tyler Hoy right behind him in 6th, and then Devin Brannon in 7th. And it's almost about a half a turn lead for David Kaiser as we put lap number 5 on the board here early. Hardy now beginning to work on Ed Pope. That is the biggest battle within the top 10. And that is for 3rd right now as Hardy goes deep into turn number 3 and 4 down bottom. And looks like he's going to be able to garner that number 3 spot away from Ed Pope. Meanwhile, Devin Brannon to the inside of Tyler Hoy. Give him the number 4 position. Hoy will go back into 5th. Going to be Upperman, the 27, holding on to 6th. Brayson Fulton has had a good run. He's 7th. Jacob Burdett 8th. 14 of Lucas Adams right now 9th. And the side-by-side battle for 10th between Jared Edwards and Dylan High here on lap number 7. Top 10 single file as they work close to the halfway point of tonight's 20-lap Booz Brothers Performance Crate Late Model feature. All right, field working close to the halfway point. David Kaiser has been in control. The 11K back to the stripe. Lap number 9 on the board this time by. Jacob Witt remains in the number 2 spot. The 14C of Kyle Hardy, though, is closing that gap up and working that bottom line and continues to chew away on that rear quarter panel of the Stevens City, Virginia driver. A pair of Stevens City driver is battling hard for the number 2 position. Witt's going to have to swing it wide. Hardy's going to take advantage and gain 2nd. Now he's got a half a straightaway to catch David Kaiser. Meanwhile, behind them, going to be Brannon and also Ed Pope battling for the number 4 position. Brannon down to the bottom side. Pope drops back into 5th. Big Tyler Hoy in 6th to the inside. Brayson Fulton looking for 7th. Kyler Upperman 8th. Jacob Burdett 9th. And Dylan High right now would be the top 10. All right, 12 on the board here tonight at Hagerstown as David Kaiser now puts 13, and into lap traffic he goes. Kyle Hardy May not get the caution he wants, but maybe it's a lap traffic that will benefit him. Kaiser begins to work on Alan Witt. He's got some good cars he's got to deal with. 40 of Scott Sweeney, he's a one-time winner. The 28 of Dylan Pryor's just up in front of him. As Hardy begins to close that gap up, it is down to about 5-6 car lengths as they begin to work the back markers in the field. So let's see what Kaiser can do as he and Hardy work off of turn number 2. There will be 5 to go when they come back to the stripe. This entire track covered with crate late model cars all around the big Hagerstown half mile. Right now the interest is going to be turn 4. That's where your leaders are as they come back for the 5 to go indication. Third spot on the track right now, still going to the 33. That'll be Jacob Witt. 1.2 seconds interval between the top 2. A couple of lap cars in between them right now. They are staying down low as Kaiser and Hardy work the high line around them and off at turn number 4. Back for lap number 16. And the interval will pretty much stand right at 1.2 seconds. The 14 of Lucas Adams, tough break for him. The pole sitter off the pace. Looks like he'll be able to hit the back pits. As the leaders swing by him, it'll be 3 to go. Kaiser now going to try the bottom side of Scott Sweeney off at turn number 4. Oh, in trouble here almost on the front straightaway. It was Ray Ciccarelli. And also Avery McMillan making contact just in front of your leader. Looked like they were going to be turned sideways. 0.8 of a second separation, and Kaiser really's got some heavy lap traffic, and Hardy's going to be right there. We are looking at 2 laps to go. Here comes Hardy, and lap traffic a big factor. Kaiser gets around Sweeney. Now Hardy's going to be to the inside. 0.3 of a second. Hardy is there in turn 1 and 2. And it's side-by-side racing. Hardy grabs a lead down the back straightaway, but they are side-by-side as far as lap cars down in turn 3 and 4. Another slower car. The leaders crash. Both of them get together. There was a slower car down bottom and other cars to get to the inside of. Hardy and Kaiser crash. Hardy's continued on. But Kaiser with his troubles in turn number 4. Hardy in the 14C 2K crate late model champion earlier this year at Hagerstown Speedway, defending Hub City National Champion in the crate late model version of this program. 33 of Witt, 3 of Brennan, 71 of Hoy, the 11 of Pope. 2 to go tonight here at our Booz Brothers Performance crate late models. And trouble for Tyler Hoy. He's off the pace. Top 5 run for the Stewart Strap Virginia driver in the 71, limping down into turn number 1 and 2. Meanwhile, we are green right now as it's going to be Hardy bringing it back into 3 and 4. Witt trying to fend off the efforts of the 3 of Devin Brennan. Hoy does get into the pits. We've got the white flag in the air. The lead is safe. The battle for 2nd. The battle for 4th. The battle for 6th. 2 by 2 by 2 racing back in turn 1 and 2. Give it to Brandon in 2nd, Witt to 3rd, Upperman to 4th, Pope in 5th, Brunel and Burdett, they are side by side for the number 6 spot. It doesn't matter. Kyle Hardy has plucked off another big victory, taking the Hub City National in the Booz Brothers Performance crate late models tonight here at Hagerstown. 3 of Devin Brannon will come home 2nd. The 33 of Jacob Witt, the 2025 champion, Kyler Upperman, and the 11 of Ed Pope the 3rd. They will be the top 5 in this year's edition of the Hub City Nationals.
Another Hub City National Championship.
There he is, folks. Kyle Hardy, your winner tonight here at Hagerstown. Well, I must say I've seen a lot of your races. Last time I talked, it was another good race. It was a 2K victory right here at Hagerstown Speedway. I know that one's not the way you wanted it to end. I can tell by the look in your face right now. But what a determined effort and what a great job again tonight by this entire team, Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, if you know me well enough, you know I'm not going to just go down there and wipe them out, we raced off the corner here, and I was door to door with him, and he's on the dust line. I'm right in the middle of the racetrack, and we catch a lap car, and I honestly didn't see it till last second because I wanted to pull up close to him and not run into him. We got to the corner.
And you're talking about the one that was down bottom, right?
Down in the bottom of 3 or 4. He was all but stopped on the inside guardrail. And we passed the lap car coming down the back straightaway. So I was focused on that. And when we got down in the corner, I was watching David out of the corner of my eye because I got respect for him. I'm not just going to run him over. So when I seen the lap car, I opened my entry up a little bit, and we touched. It was nothing intentional. I mean, we're both flying down the back straightaway, and there's a lap car pretty much stopped on the bottom of the racetrack. And I didn't see it till last second. I mean, it's either hit the guy in the ass and, tear up a bunch of stuff, or kind of run the middle to wide part of the racetrack. And when we come down the back straightaway across the humps here, he was right up against the fence, and I was right up beside him. And we was door to door in the 3. And like I said, if anybody knows me, I've run a lot of races here, and never had anything like that happen. And that's the first for me to ever see anything like that. Catch a lap car. I don't know why it was stopped on the bottom. Should have pulled in on the back straightaway here. But now it's pretty discouraging, hear what we hear there. But I just want to at least talk to him, I've raced with him enough to know I've never laid a fender on him, and why would I do it now? It's for $1,000. But, people are going to say what they want, and they see what they see. But if you couldn't see a car stuck down there at the bottom, maybe it's the reason why I didn't see it either. But
well, I think it took us by surprise up top when you guys were closing and we saw that car all of a sudden down to the bottom of the speedway. Plus, there was other lap traffic higher up. It made it for very tight quarters racing in a battle for the lead. So I think to a lot of people, they can understand something was going to have to give with so many cars that were in there battling for positions.
Well, like I said, we passed the car halfway down the back straightaway, 3 wide. We get to the corner, and here's a car sitting. I mean, I don't know where I'm supposed to go. I'm in the middle of the racetrack. I would never do it on purpose, but anyway, yeah, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of people here see me race and race with respect with everybody. I have no reason to do that. I won 3 races in a row last year worth $10,000. Last week worth $10,000. Didn't touch anybody. Why would I do it here right now? Don't need to. I don't need the money. It's just part of it. Just hope everybody understands. Just hard racing. I got respect for them guys. A ton of respect. I go out there 3 times a week. I'd do anything for them, as I'm sure they would too. But
well, let's talk about last weekend and transition to this weekend. It was a very big weekend. I mean, every time it comes to Rush Crate late model racing, Kyle Hardy's name almost is top shelf. And you've said it before. We've talked about it, even going back to the 2K to Win race. It's a very, very tough field of cars in this region. But then for you, look at you jumping into Chuck's car tonight and finding a way to make this work and get this car into victory lane. That says a lot about the driving style and the perseverance of Kyle Hardy and the hard work ethic.
Yeah, for sure. We come here, kind of went over the car a little bit, and they had it really close. Hot lapped it and changed a couple things, and yeah, it fell back, I guess, to 10th or something in the feature. I knocked it out of gear to try to clear it out, and I couldn't get it back into high gear, so had to pass like 12 cars, it felt like. But yeah, I don't know if I caught them that fast or whatever, but just hope they understand. I'd never do that on purpose. No matter what the money is. I've raced door to door here with Brandon Shepard for a Lucas Oil race in 21. So I mean, whatever, say what you want. Just can't thank these guys for giving me an opportunity to race, and I truly hate it ended that way. Just not how I wanted to see it go down. Just really weird circumstances. Like I said, I don't know why we got cars stopped in the bottom of the racetrack. But
who would you like to thank, Kyle?
Chucky, his family, and everybody that's on his car. They got good parts on it, and just shows that you don't need a brand new race car to win. Just can't thank him enough. Just sorry to the Kaisers and Anne Marie and them guys. Hopefully they can see through to me talking to them or whatever. Just as I know, I'm friends with them, and just terrible circumstances. Just hate it, and we'll move on and just go from there.
We're getting down to the very special time of year, and I know I've talked to you at this point. I mean, you probably still have a ton of races left to go, but what's on the calendar for Kyle Hardy coming up here in the next few weeks? Because this is a time of year where there's specials everywhere.
I'm not too sure. We're going to race the supercar tomorrow at Elkins. We got Bedford Keystone coming up. We're going to the Pittsburgher for the crate portion. The Stampede at Lernerville. Yeah, and then that'll be close to finishing out. We got a super Darrell Hill race at Potomac coming up. Just, yeah, pretty terrible night tonight. Just hate it happened. We'll just have to talk to them and try to, tell them, exactly how I saw it from my point of view, and just, everybody has their opinions. Just, it's just a crappy part about racing. Sometimes things happen, just you can't help it.
Totally understandable. Kyle Hardy backs up another Hub City National Championship victory tonight in crate late model action at Hagerstown.